Hi class, Miss Hamilton here again. We are now on to our second review lesson here on integers. It's a fairly short lesson. I would combine it with this lesson and next lesson before you approach any homework questions that would be for this. So integers. So you want to think of integers as positive and negative numbers. You can think of them on a number line. Some students might remember them using blue and red chips representing positive numbers and blue chips representing negative numbers. Okay. And then there's a couple of rules we need to remember. So for adding and subtracting, you want to think the number line. For multiplying and dividing, though, there is a couple of rules. So anything that's the same sign, okay, and I'm just getting my pen here, would mean that you would have a positive value. So for example, if you were to multiply two positive numbers by each other, you would end up getting a positive. So just a little outline. Plus sign VE stands for positive. Okay, it's a little short form that I like to use, and other teachers will use as well throughout your math career. Just it's a little quick form. As well, if we were to use two negative values, okay, you would still get a positive answer. Now, to get a negative sign, so looking at the other end of this, so if you have two different signs, so for example, a positive and a negative sign, this is when you would get a negative value. And so negative sign, VE, that stands for negative, okay? So again, just a little bit of short forms I'll be using throughout the course. Okay, if you would like to write it out fully, that's no problem. I prefer the short form method just because we go over some stuff so much. Okay, so let's look at a couple of questions evaluating using subtraction and addition, but also you have to kind of think of some of the multiplication rules, okay, as we get going through this. So negative 4 plus 12, okay? So if you were to look at the number line, I'm going to do this as an example. Come back up. If you're at negative 4 here, okay, and then you add 12, so using the negative line to go in the direction of addition, okay, so you count 12 times, okay, we would end up with an answer of positive 8, okay? Now, if it's a positive answer, you don't have to put a positive sign. You can just write the value. Okay. Now, for question 8, or for question B there, sorry, negative 8 plus negative 15, what we're seeing is we're seeing a value that's continuing to move in the negative direction. Okay, so negative 8 plus negative 15 ends up having a negative value of 23. Because that continues to move negatively on the number line. Okay. And if you want to work ahead on a couple of these questions, see if you get the answers right, that's no problem as I work through them. So 11 plus negative 3. So it starts positive, but it's really just saying 11 minus 3 in this situation. That's what's really happening here. So if we get 11 minus 3, we also get the same answer as 8. Negative 6 minus 10. So very similar to the question above, B, okay? We are continuing to move in the negative direction, even though it's not considered a negative value, but because it's associated with a negative 10 now, that's why. So negative 6 minus 10, okay, is going to be negative 16. Now here's an interesting one, okay? So you have a negative and a negative value. So when you have two negative values like this, okay, back to back, essentially that's multiplication there. Those two operations would be multiplying. So what would happen is they would actually create a positive sign. So you would end up with actually 13 plus 4, which would give us an answer of 17. Okay, so even though we're adding and subtracting, you still have to remember some of the rules of multiplying and dividing integers, okay, in order to do that. Another situation like that, we have -5 subtract -8. Again, a negative with a negative becomes a positive. So now you look at it, a negative value plus 8. Okay, so moving in the direction of right or the addition way on the number line. Okay, so negative would give us a value of 3. Okay, and then one more question. Okay, this value starts positive, but it's moving negatively. So the negative number is greater, so you're going to end up with a negative answer. So 7 subtract 18 gives us an answer of -11. Again, I do expect this to be quite a bit of review, so for many of you. So if you're finding this easy, that makes me very happy. We have one more page for this lesson where we're going to look at more of multiplying and dividing of integers. Okay, so moving to our second page here. Okay. So this is where you have to remember the rules, right? 2 positive signs, positive answer. 2 negative signs, positive answer. Negative and a positive sign, going to get a negative answer, okay? Don't that's where you see a lot of errors in math, is people make mistakes or forget to include a negative sign or change it to a positive sign. So don't rush things, just make sure you're taking your time as you're working through these questions, okay? -5 times 3, okay? Negative times positive, we're going to get a negative answer, so -15. Okay, 2 negatives, okay? Multiplying is going to give us a positive answer, so you should note that first, and then you can work on using the values. So 4 and 4, multiplying, we're going to get a value of positive 16 here. -12 times -2, -24. What I would say here is I would pause the video if you want to try the next couple by yourself. And then once you've done the next couple of questions, start the video up again, okay? Because I'm going to put down the answers now to see if you've got those correct for yourself, okay? 42 divided by -7, okay? And the rules still apply for when we're dividing, okay? So positive divided by negative can give us a negative answer of -6. Two more questions left. -18 divided by -9, okay? Negative divided by negative, positive answer, okay? It's going to give us a value of 2. And then the last one, -24 divided by 6, okay? It's going to give us an answer of -4. So check if you got those right. So again, as I said in the first video, don't worry about these homework things on this unit just because I've changed the homework sheets for this unit. So you can go through the package that is at the end of the package of the review, and you can work through the questions that have integers, but I would also wait till we do order of operations, which is your next video, to maybe even do some of those since this was such a short video.